night of delivery. We're gonna head back to see Linda and Kitty. Right, gonna pick up some honey and some other comfort foods. It's good to see you. I wonder what makes it. Oh, it's probiotic size. That's pretty crazy. I thought there was this one.
Right here for now, and then as you clear out what you want, you can do what you want. Did you put this?
I got some good unadulterated, unfiltered raw honey and some chicken soup and other just comfort stuff. And I secretly got a Snickers bar for $1.79, but it's not too big. Before I hit up 7-Eleven. And if you're having a crisis or not, or if things go on your way, always go for Snickers. Snickers. You never can fail with the Snickers. I like the white chocolate, it's my favorite, but you can't always find it. I just like white chocolate, I don't know why. Also like yogurt products. Like, you know those white yogurt pretzels? Ooh. Sun come moon trying to come up. You know those white yogurt pretzels, I used to take those to the movie theaters. And then I'd take palm dates. Ugh. You know the palm dates like that you put in the mouth, and you take a little can of palm dates, a little can of palm dates, you know, medulla dates, kind of with, I preferably like the ones with the seed in them. They're expensive though. It's my favorite snack. Oh, you know me. I do like the cooking dates that you can, you know, without the seed, the pit. But I like with pit. Not Michael Pitt, Brad Pitt. For Jed Wilson. Michael Pitt, he can certainly audition, but he's not going to beat Brad Pitt. He's like our modern day John Wayne. You know Snickers bar, me no Snickers bar. You know what's interesting about that line in Inglourious Bastards? He goes, you know guns, me no guns. I'm gonna have to go see that scene. Matter of fact, I might go watch Inglourious Bastards again. There is monologues. Here's the thing about Quentin Tarantino. I don't know if I said it. I usually say it out loud, but I don't always record it. He is a modern day Shakespeare because he focuses on language. He does have plot. He has the plot, but I think he focuses on language. He focuses on dialogue. You know, Moliere, Shakespeare, all that stuff, they all focused on dialogue. I don't know if I would call him Moliere, but I probably would call him Shakespeare because of his body. I don't mean like B-O-D-Y. I mean B-A-W-D-Y, as in to be body. To be body means to be Jackie Brown, yeah. Shakespeare probably said a lot of things. Shakespeare said, the bard, as they called him, he wrote for the Globe. He said things that people were like shocked, and things he was shocking, yeah. So people were watching going, oh my God. They were all blue-eyed, just like they are in a Quentin Tarantino film. They're like, what in the world? you know, bring out the GIMP. You're like, whoa, why am I watching this? I actually walked out at the beginning of Pulp Fiction, and then I, you know, walked back in a few weeks later after everyone told me, you gotta see this, it's crazy. I don't know, man. That's the Pulp Fiction one is the only one. It'd be hard to put that one on Angel Video. Supposedly he's a Protestant. I don't know. I don't know about Shakespeare, though. I don't really know if he was a hardcore Catholic. It's like 29 degrees outside. Cat ran over here and took a piss. So I pulled up the anatomy of a drone, as in one that flies around and makes the media paranoid. And that's tuna fish. Maybe from Alaska, I don't know. But anyway, so, you know, I looked at the drone. It has a prop. They call it a propeller. They call it a prop. So it's still language. They also have a, I'm going to put an integrated integrated sonic, integrated ultrasonic, basically sonar, an integrated radar, integrated thermal camera, and integrated, that's why it's kind of the size of a beach ball. It's got all these cameras on it. So it's got a thermal, it's got a night vision, and then it's got sonar, which goes out. It can locate beacons, and it's got radar. So it's got, you know, things that it's mostly for espionage, and then maybe for dropping drops and stuff like that. It could drop ammo in dangerous areas. And the operators nowadays, supposedly the kids are the ones that are really good at operating them. That's what I've heard. Control box, I guess you could say. Has a small CPU in it, probably. It's gonna have Wi-Fi capabilities, Bluetooth capabilities, and probably maybe even a modem. Help process the camera on it a little bit better. Who might talk about all this? Jed Wilson. I don't know if he'll eat a tuna fish sandwich. He might. Or he might eat a peanut butter and jelly. I'm not for sure. But they'll probably be like in a tent. It'll be cold. And he'll just be talking about one drone. He'll probably go over the anatomy of the drone with Droopy. Droopy's not really slow. He's just kind of, think of Real Genius. I like the film Real Genius with Val Kilmer. They're kind of geniuses, you know. He lives in a trash can, so, you know, he could probably do anything. He might ask him, like, well, what was it like, you know, living in a trash can? And he'll probably explain it, you know. Well, you know, it's, I guess maybe he had like a phone that had some downloaded movies on it, a couple of movies on it. Maybe it had Beverly Hills Cop. The 7-Eleven would occasionally let him, that's where I'm at right now. The 7-Eleven would occasionally let him, you know, charge the phone. But it probably wasn't like a, you know, like an active phone. At least he activated it with one of the cards or whatever and figured it out. So he could watch Beverly Hills Cop. He had a solo stove. I don't know really what the name is on it. I did a commercial for it. I actually really did a commercial for it. They paid me about $100. It's supposed to be a smokeless stove. Well, it's almost kind of like an oven, but it's actually a stove. It's more of like a cylinder pot. that you can cook on. You can put sticks in it and stuff, and you light it up, and it circulates inside of it, but it doesn't create smoke. And you can do marshmallows on it. It heats up, creates a lot of heat. Then they call it a solo stove, or something like that, a solar stove. Yeah, I think they call it a solar stove, a solo stove or something. I mentioned it already in the book, but probably another movie was on it. Maybe Richard Donner's Superman. That was downloaded on the phone. Probably the phone was given to him, maybe by a passerby, or maybe it had minutes on it. Maybe it was a pre-plan phone, you know, like you prepay, and you could occasionally download games and stuff, and not really complex games, but then every once in a while you could, you know, go into 7-Eleven and shop. Not a real busy 7-Eleven, and there's a 7-Eleven trash can, which people don't understand. Then there's this private property, most likely purchased by the dwarf, that's behind the 7-Eleven, that has another type of trash can. They just naturally find it, and no one can enter onto that private property, so they couldn't just go up to the trash can and just pull him out of the trash can, because it's not actually on the 7-Eleven property. It's on a lot right behind it. It looks like it is, though, but the concrete lot has a dash of basically dirt or snow between the two businesses. One's owned by the dwarf, and the other's owned by 7-Eleven. He has them in a few spots where they'll show up. He has people show up at the trash can and remove the trash on an intermittent basis, and explain to them that, first of all, we know you're in the trash can. We just want to empty whatever trash or feces or whatever is in there and clean it out. And they clean it for him and everything, and make sure. And that's something that Jed Wilson kind of comes to term to realize. Oh, okay. So it wasn't actually a 7-Eleven trash can, but it does say Empire Disposable on it. Okay. So they talk about that maybe in the tent, so we're focusing on dialogue and character, kind of reasoning, explaining the plot. And then maybe he talks about, you know, how he ended up there. It was probably some weird medicine that was given to him that made him kind of go, you know, daydreamy. Various types of medicines, probably. I don't think he's an Alaskan native. And his real name's not Droopy. But we never get to know his real name. Has no tats. I was thinking maybe like a young Jeremy Davies, but Jeremy Davies is older, but I like that kind of character. He'd be older. There's been an older crowd. It might could work. It'll be probably something to talk about in development. If it launched into a movie, right now it's just a book. Now, it will be a book. So I have proof that I can say, well, this is a book. It's not on Amazon. It's on Kindle. It's not on anything right now. It's just on Facebook, on my page. But this scene is kind of a filler scene, as I call it. Here's something that's interesting about it, plot-wise. He does talk to him. They do have a conversation about 7-Eleven and a trash can, a lot behind 7-Eleven with another type of trash can. There's like private property. They do talk about that in the solo stove. They talk about the phone. They talk about Beverly Hills Cop and Richard Donner's Superman. They talk about how that was on the actual phone, and he was there. He ended up there. He maybe once had a stay in some type of stabilization ward at one time. He likes to touch things a few times. Sometimes he starts to fall asleep and then wake up. So he's droopy. Now, Jed talks to him and stuff like that, and then they have this little conversation. Then he talks to him really quick and explains the drone and how the drone works and everything. And then they start flying the drone, and he's like, "Wow, this is cool," because he already knows kind of how to fly a drone. I mean, most people do, but he's showing them how to do it. It's probably on a special controller. It's not necessarily on the phone, and so he has this controller that he's using. So it can't necessarily be hacked. It's probably protected somehow by the dwarf, and he's flying it. But the dwarf's not there, just Jed Wilson and the droopy. And then the next thing you know, he shows, and he can see on the monitor what he's doing, and his job is to drop this honey packet onto this bear. The bear is a circus bear named Bailey. And Bailey is being led by Lady Shroom under the moonlight along this huge field. And it's open field. It's just beautiful, very almost just something Lynch would like to look at. It's beautiful, like blues and like, icy, just you can hear the storm, and you can see the bear, and she's got her head down kind of with holding the leash, and there's kind of moving in a slow movement, and the drone is flying over, and all of a sudden Jed goes, "All right, now it's my turn." He picks up this controller and hits this button, and like 50 drones go flying up over and just dropping all these honey packets, just like for Winnie the Pooh. And he's showing him the power of what a drone attack can do, and what two guys, can do in just this certain type of attack. And ideally, that could be anything they'd be dropping. All right, so that's the basic of the scene. It could be, I don't know how many pages it could be. Ideally, I've kept my chapters somewhat short on purpose. So the big thing is here is think about the meat of the words and action, and then get into some of the dialogue, and then they'll be in like a tent. They'll be in like a thermal tent, with maybe like a Coleman lantern and all that kind of stuff. Okay? All right, we're head off. Okay. Purple light. Purple light. Purple light. Hooray.